Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Devya. Nashtuprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, third chapter, pure devotion service, the change in heart, text number 17 onwards. So here Shaunak Rishi is asking these questions to Sut Goswami, and so far he glorified qualities of Krishna, qualities of Maharaj Parikshit, Shukdev Goswami, and then saying they must be talking out about Krishna Katha. So they were, all these sages, they were so eager to hear Krishna Katha. They are asking more and more. So what did Parikshit Maharaj ask again? What were his questions? And Krishna Katha is so glorified that now Shaunak Rishi is saying, talking about those people who have no inclination towards hearing Krishna Katha, or means those who want to live the life of eat, drink, and be merry. Text 17. Ayorharati vaipunsam udyanastam chayannaso tasyarte yakshano nita uttam shlok vartayam. Both by rising and setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all-good personality of Godhead. So rising and setting of sun means every day, day by day, everybody's lifespan is getting shortened, getting reduced. So how come he is saying, except the one who utilizes his time in hearing about Krishna? Well, devotees also die, but the best part of being a devotee who spent time in hearing about Krishna is, okay, this lifetime they hear about Krishna, and once they leave the body, whether they take birth again in Vaishnava family, they'll continue hearing about Krishna. Whether they go back to Krishna Loka, they'll again hearing about Krishna. So it's the same for them. There's hardly any change. Just change of some body, but that's about it. The rest, everything, the activities remain the same. But this is not the same for karmi person. This verse indirectly confirms the greater importance of utilizing the human form of life to realize our lost relationship with the Supreme Lord by acceleration of devotional service. Time and tide wait for no man, so the time indicated by the sunrise and sunset will be uselessly wasted if such time is not properly utilized for realizing identification of spiritual values. Even a fraction of the duration of life wasted cannot be compensated by any amount of gold. Human life is simply awarded to a living entity, Jiva, so that he can realize his spiritual identity and his permanent source of happiness. A living being, especially the human being, is seeking happiness because happiness is a natural situation of the living entity. But he is vainly seeking happiness in the material atmosphere. A living being is constitutionally a spiritual spark of the complete whole, and his happiness can be perfectly perceived in spiritual activities. So this is also Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, Susukhum Kartum Avyayam, about the devotion service. He said, this is happily performed. Only this activity can be happily performed. Otherwise, the whole material world is dukkha. It's a place of misery. So we cannot be happy here. No matter how much we try to engage in sense gratification, we cannot be happy. And just imagine, technologically or economically, America is number one country. But the number one drug that is being sold here is antidepressant. Japan is number one country. There's technology over there is it's amazing. Nobody has it. India must be at least maybe 100 years behind Japan. But the number one cause of death in Japan is suicide. They're so depressed. People are so frustrated. So we have to understand technology, money, economy, or any other thing certainly doesn't make a person happy. Of course, that doesn't mean one should not work on this, improving the economical condition of the family, of the society. But unless and until we are connected with God, unless until we are connected with Krishna or some sort of spirituality, we can. Everybody cannot be coming to Krishna consciousness and becoming a devotee. It's not possible. At least some sort of spirituality. If one is not connected to, then the life cannot give one happiness. There's no way. So this is what Prabhupada is writing. A living being is constitutionally a spiritual spark of the complete whole. We are not this body, we are spiritual spark, we are spirit soul. And we are connected with the complete whole, with God. And this happiness can be perfectly perceived in spiritual activities. The Lord is a complete spirit whole, and his name, form, qualities, pastimes, entourage, and personality are all identical with him. Once a person comes into contact with any one of the above mentioned energies of the Lord, through the proper channel of devotion service, the door to perfection is immediately opened. In Bhagavad Gita 240, the Lord has explained such contact in the following words. Endeavors in devotional service are never baffled, nor is there failure. A slight beginning of such activities is sufficient even to deliver a person from the great ocean of material fears. So even a slight advancement, slight beginning on this path can deliver a person from greatest fear, of great ocean of material fears. As a highly potent drug injected intravenously acts at once on the whole body, the transcendental topics of the Lord injected through the ear by the pure devotee of the Lord can act very efficiently. Oral realization of the transcendental messages implies total realization, just as fructification of one part of a tree implies fructification of all other parts. This realization for a moment in the association of pure devotees like Shukdev Goswami prepares one's complete life for eternity. So, just hearing, just like previously we read about the potency of sadhu sangha, love matra sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi. Love matra means 1/14th of a second, even that much association with the sadhu. And association with the sadhu means to hear him. That's it. To hear him attentively. And that can take one on the path of perfection. And thus the sun fails to rob the pure devotee of his duration of life, inasmuch as he is constantly busy in devotion service of the Lord, purifying his existence. Death is a symptom of the material infection of the eternal living being. Only due to material infection is the eternal living entity subjected to the law of birth, death, old age, and disease. So this is material infection, and the devotee is definitely beyond this material infection. For him, death is like, okay, changing of bodies, but the activity remains the same. The materialistic way of pious activities, like charity, is recommended in Smriti Shastras, as quoted by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So here is um, spiritual interest that the bank of karma can pay. Let's see what the interest rates of interest declared by the bank of karma. Money given in charity to a suitable person is guaranteed bank balance in the next life. Such charity is recommended to be given to a Brahman. If the money is given in charity to a non-Brahman without Brahminical qualification, the money is returned in the next life in the same proportion. Okay. If it is given in charity to a half-educated Brahman, even then the money is returned double. See, Krishna's bank works amazingly. If the money is given in charity to a learned and fully qualified Brahman, the money is returned 100,000 times. And if the money is given to a Ved Parag, one who has factually realized the path of the Vedas, it's returned by unlimited multiplication. So even if somebody wants to be happy in the next life, okay, this life, whatever karmas we have done, we have to we have to live accordingly. So the next life, if you want to live happy, at least start donating to Ved Parag. Ved Parag, one who has factually realized the path of the Vedas, and the path of Vedas is basically devotion service. The ultimate end of the Vedic knowledge is realization of the personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. There is a guarantee of monies being returned if given in charity, regardless of the proportion. Similarly, a moment passed in the association of a pure devotee by hearing and chanting the transcendental messages of the Lord is a perfect guarantee for eternal life, for returning home back to Godhead. Madham Vittva Punarjanma Navidyate. In other words, a devotee of the Lord is guaranteed eternal life. A devotee's old age or disease in the present life is but an impetus to such guaranteed eternal life. So Prabhupada is making a point that if we give money in charity to even a Brahman, half qualified Brahman, it is returned 100 times, or double, and fully qualified then hundred and thousands of times. What to speak of uh, time, moment, or time spent in serving Krishna or hearing about him? How much beneficial will that be? So that's why the shlok says, if a devotee is here, the same sun by rising and setting who decreases the age of every living entity, but not for a devotee who's engaged in hearing the topics about Krishna. But then somebody says, oh, what about, I mean, I cannot sit down whole day hearing about Krishna. I have to work. I have to uh, take care of my life. How am I going to survive? I have to breathe, and I have to have a family. How can I sit down whole day hearing? And now Shaunak Rishi is getting a little more strict, serious. He says, Tarvaha kim na jivanti, bhastra kim na shvasanti, na khadanti na meyanti, kim grame pasho apare. He says, do the trees not live? Do the bellows of the blacksmith not breathe? All around us, do the beasts not eat and discharge semen? They all are doing it, but they are not engaged in hearing Krishna Katha. The materialistic man of the modern age will argue that life, or part of it, is never meant for discussion of theosophical or theological arguments. Life is meant for the maximum duration of existence for eating, drinking, sexual intercourse, making merry, and enjoying life. The modern man wants to live forever by the advancement of material science. And there are many foolish theories for prolonging life to the maximum duration. But the Srimad Bhagavatam affirms that life is not meant for so-called economic development or advancement of materialistic science, for the hedonistic philosophy of eating, mating, drinking, and merrymaking. Life is solely meant for tapasya, for purifying existence, so that one may enter into eternal life just after the end of the human form of life. So the whole sole purpose of this human form of life is tapasya. Tapasya means to purify oneself. And what kind of tapasya? That's later on in seventh canto it is answered. Tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam shuddhe dasmat brahm sokhyam. Tapo divyam. What kind of tapasya? Divya tapasya, which leads on to Brahm Sokhyam Tva Anantam, means eternal uh, happiness, eternal spiritual happiness. That kind of tapasya. The materialists want to prolong life as much as possible because they have no information of the next life. They want to get the maximum comforts in this present life because they think conclusively that there is no life after death. So, from their viewpoint, it is written somewhere. If you are a materialist, so you better think or you better have this kind of idea that you're gonna live forever in this life. And if you're a spiritualist, you better have the idea that you can die tomorrow, or this could be the last day. But then only we both can make progress on your paths. The materialists want to prolong life as much as possible because they have no information of the next life. So they say this life is all in all, and just have to enjoy it. Eat, drink, and be merry. They want to get the maximum comforts in this present life because they think conclusively that there is no life after death. This ignorance about the eternity of the living being and the change of covering in the material world has played havoc in the structure of modern human society. Consequently, there are many problems multiplied by various plans of modernized man. The plans of solving the problems of society have only aggravated the troubles. Even if it is possible to prolong life more than 100 years, advancement of human civilization does not necessarily follow. The Bhagavatam says that certain trees live for hundreds and thousands of years. So when they say, oh, I have to live long, so tarva kimna jivanti? Do the trees not live? And the trees, some trees can live for hundreds and thousands of years. At Vrindavan, there is a tamarind tree, the place known as Imlitala, which is said to have existed since the time of Lord Krishna. So we have taken the trip to Vrindavan. It's in the Parikrama Marg of Vrindavan, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat down. There's a beautiful temple there in Litala. There's tamarind tree. Of course, the original tree is not there, but the tree it is there, it is said it came from the same roots of the original tree. And there's a beautiful story behind that in Litala, that tamarind tree. Um, Once Srimati Radharani was told that Krishna is sitting under the tamarind tree and he's waiting for you. So she ran towards that tree, that place of Imlitala, right at the bank of Yamuna. But some of the tamarind fruits had fallen on the ground around that tree. So Radharani, she didn't see those fruits. She was so eager to see Krishna, to meet Krishna. And some of those fruits pricked the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. And some blood was coming out. And then Radharani, um, I won't say cursed, it is like blessing for the tree. She blessed that tree that your fruits will always be soft. If you know the tamarind fruit, it's like little long and it has some spokes on both ends. So when it falls on the ground, when it becomes dry, it becomes hard, but not of that tree. It always remains soft. And of course, the story even goes further that Krishna, he was sitting under the tamarind tree looking at Yamuna and he was remembering Srimati Radharani. And while remembering, he had closed his eyes and he was chanting the names of Radhe, 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 Radhe. And Radharani was coming and she saw from a distance Krishna and he was chanting name of Radhe, Radhe, Radhe. And then she saw, who is this person? This is not Krishna. Because Krishna, when he was absorbed in chanting those names of Radharani, and we can only imagine what kind of absorption he went into, that he took the form of Radharani, means the color of Radharani, means he became golden in color. He saw this form. When are you going to manifest this form? Then Krishna said, I'll come in Kali Yuga and take your form, take your color as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and will perform my leelas. So there's this beautiful deity of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu under that tree, and he's looking, facing Yamuna ji. It's a beautiful temple. So if you ever get a chance, please go there and take darshan. So again, coming back to our trees, Prabhupada is writing, in the Calcutta Botanical Garden, there's a banyan tree said to be older than 5,000 years. And there are many such trees all over the world. Swami Shankaracharya lived only 32 years and Lord Chaitanya lived 48 years. Does it mean that the prolonged lives of the above-mentioned trees are more important than Shankar or Chaitanya? Prolonged life without spiritual value is not very important. One may doubt that trees have life because they do not breathe. But modern scientists like Bose have already proved that there is life in the plant, so breathing is no sign of actual life. And if they talk about breathing, so Bhastra Kimna Shvasantyut means the Bhagavatam says that the bellows of the blacksmith breathes very soundly. But that does not mean that the bellows have life. So this bellow, it's I don't know what they call in Hindi. So it is made of skin of some animal, and this blacksmith he presses it, and the air comes out of it, and it goes onto the fire, and the fire comes up higher, and then he melts his iron on it, and then he makes uh, instruments out of that iron. So that bellow, when he is pressing again and again, opening and pressing, it's like a lungs. They're moving and they are pressing, and the air is released, and the air is inhaled and exhaled like that. It makes lots of sound. So so Shaunak Rishi is saying, so bellows also breathe. So if we are breathing just for eating, sleeping, mating, defending, what's the point? The materialist will argue that life in the tree and the life in the man cannot be compared because the trees cannot enjoy life by eating palatable dishes or by enjoying sexual intercourse. In reply to this, the Bhagavatam asks whether other animals like the dogs and hogs living in the same village with human beings, they do not eat and enjoy sexual life. They also do that, and they do it much better way than human beings can do, and in quantity wise also. Hogs can eat anything and everything, and so can and the dogs. They can enjoy sex life without any restriction. They don't have to have marriage or they have to look for the right time or the place. So what is the point? Life is not just for that. The specific utterance of Srimad Bhagavatam in regard to other animals means that persons who simply engage in planning a better type of animal life, consisting of eating, breathing, and mating, are also animals in the shape of human beings. A society of such polished animals cannot benefit suffering humanity, for an animal can easily harm another animal, but rarely do good. So next verse is even uh, more strong. So, so now the stronger verses will come towards till the end of this chapter. The beautiful verses, they're basically to open our eyes, and we should get more and more inclined towards hearing about Krishna, hearing Krishna Katha. So I'll stop here, see anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I think in one of the trips to Vrindavan, I overheard a conversation wherein, in fact, devotees were talking about the trees around Govardhanji being some kind of sadhus and
Yeah,
devotees doing tapasya.
yeah, that is also true.
So, which means these trees can also be kind of doing some meditation, is it?
Yeah, the trees in Vrindavan, they are special. So there could be some sadhus or yogis sitting there. So we should not harm even a tree over there.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
In fact, talking about this Imlitala, because I just remembered, that Imlitala is also considered, of course, every tree in Vrindavan is a desire tree. So that Imlitala tree is also considered a desire tree. Desire tree means you ask for any benediction and it will be fulfilled. Of course, spiritual benediction, not material. They don't fulfill your material benediction, or desires. So when we had gone there, it was it was very hot that day. We were doing Vrindavan Parikrama, and obviously we take one bus load of devotees every time. And there were so many Matajis in that trip. There were ladies from Matajis from Lajpat Nagar, and our dear Gopal Prabhu was also there. So when he heard of this, that this Imlitala is a desire tree, and it was very hot, and he desired, and later he told me, that time he didn't, he said, I desired that I hope it becomes cool and it rains because it's so hot we can't walk properly. I wish it rains. So we went further from the Imlitala, then we crossed the Keshi Ghat, and then we were doing Parikrama, and there's a place called Pani Ghat, it comes. And when we reached Pani Ghat, it started raining cats and dogs. And we were like, where did this cloud come from? We never saw this cloud. It was so hot. It was really hot. And then Gopal told me, oh, this is what I asked for. I said, you better send the rains back. We don't want that much rain. Okay, little bit drizzle is okay, not that much rain.
Gopal Prabhuji told me, Prabhuji, this on this incident, na? But
Yeah. It
Imlitala
really
didn't.
rained. It really rained. I mean, the whole group was, somebody was standing somewhere, somebody was standing somewhere for the rain to stop. And then we prayed, okay, if it wants to rain, let it rain only little bit drizzle, not that much rain. And then it stopped also. And then we completed our parikrama. But yes, it is a desire tree. In fact, all the trees in Braj are desire trees.
Amazing, Prabhuji. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
So thank you all very much. You have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Jai
Hare
Shri
Krishna,
Prabhupada.
Prabhuji. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much, Prabhuji.